Hey everybody, I'm Jason Pelligra. Welcome to Face Off, where we take two horror films, put them against each other, and in the end we see which one is better based on our criteria. Okay, hold the phone because today we have a heavy hitters warning. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the battle of the Titans. Jason Voorhees versus Freddy Krueger. The debate will rage forever, Freddy or Jason. And both series have plenty of hits and misses. Two of the franchise's hits were their fourth installments, so why not do a battle of the Part 4s? Both franchises enjoyed huge success and huge box office. Oddly enough, both Part 4s were some of the biggest moneymakers in the franchises, as well as achieving the most commercial appeal. First up, scary, as always. The final chapter was a no-nonsense film that boasted seemingly the angriest and most vicious Jason Voorhees. The gore and suspense in this film were as good as it gets in the franchise. If ever there was to be the subtitle Jason's Revenge, this seems like the perfect film. It was brutal and horrifying. Well, if it's one thing the Dream Master didn't do was offer much in the way of scares. It made up for it in other ways, but aside from the graphic Roach Motel scares were few. Alright, so if it sounds like Friday the 13th took the lead, you're right, but how big a lead? Let's go to the scoreboard. Final Chapter 8, Dream Master 4. Next up, Sexy. Friday hauled out the big guns in this one, from sexy nurse to beautiful cast, men and women, and yes, even twins, skinny dipping, shower scenes, and even nude death scenes. This film did it up right. While Nightmare steered clear of outright nudity for the most part, there was plenty of sexy cast members and innuendos to go round. The cast was not only very attractive, but rock badass 80s styles.
We are talking one major league hunk.
It was almost like if you didn't do this category properly in the 80s, you were an idiot. Let's go to the scoreboard. Final Chapter 8, Elm Street, Dream Master 6. All right, off we go to filmmaking, and I know what you're thinking, but this category might surprise you this time.
They're sitting there for 2 hours. This is supposed to be fun. They're told it's fun. They see it advertised on television. It did a lot of business. Their older brothers and sisters went to see it. And what do they see for 2 hours? Just cynical
It's terrible.
defeatism.
It's terrible. It's a terrible film.
While it wasn't one of Siskel and Ebert's favorite films,
All it is the teenagers go to Crystal Lake and they're killed.
Roger, we don't have a dispute about the film. The only point that I'm
It is a
making, because
worldview. Have you seen all four of them? What are they trying to tell you?
No. What they're trying to give kids is a roller coaster ride, and instead of the thing of falling off the roller coaster, it's will you get stabbed in some way?
Will you get disemboweled and eviscerated?
It's a terrible film.
the film was solid from front to back as far as sequels go. The combination of Zito's direction and Savini's kills gave this film its own unique feel. The characters were also clearly defined more than other Fridays. The slut tried to help the prude, so sweet. The stoner guy razzing his nerd BFF, who was brilliantly played by Crispin Glover. There was regret when some of these characters died.
Friday the 13th, the final chapter, is 90 minutes of teenagers being strangled, stabbed, impaled, chopped up, and mutilated. That's all this movie is just mindless, bloody violence.
Rennie Harlan took this film and made it his own. Unlike most times when a director does the established franchise cliche. And this time it worked. The fear was not there, but the story was strong and almost comic book-like in feel. Again, it worked. Freddy was in commercial bliss at this point. Robert Englund was white hot. Harlan exploited it and kicked it into high gear. The cast of Dream Master was maybe the most defined cast of teens with lots of depth and layers. Casting in this film was brilliant. Let's check out the scoreboard. Friday the 13th, Final Chapter 7, Dream Master 9. You don't see a lot of 9s on this show. All right, plot. Jason is not dead yet. No, for some reason, he decided to move away from campgrounds and attack lake homes. Also, continuity errors were highlighted in this film. If the storyline from part 2 to 4 was only a few days, he had grown from a teen body in part 2 to a hulking man in 3 and 4. He lost his hair, gained significantly in weight and strength, not to mention the Drifter's motive to find his sister or his sister's killer, Jason. If she was killed in part 2, he would have hardly had enough time to suspect her missing, let alone be angrily hunting with news clippings of her vanishing. At the conclusion of Dream Warriors, the Elm Street franchise was taking a definitive turn. Dream Master was able to brilliantly build on it, adding even more lore and supernatural to the franchise. Bringing back surviving characters from part 3 was an awesome touch, and then building in a dream adversary for Freddy. Awesome. Whether you like the lighter direction of the film, it was rife with imagination. Let's go to the scoreboard. Final chapter 4, Dream Master 8. All right, let's get to the antagonists. All right, we're not judging Freddy versus Jason in this segment. What we are judging is Freddy from part 4, Dream Master versus Jason from part 4, final chapter. And what a paradox we are dealing with. Jason in part 4 looked the coolest, 7 notwithstanding, and was by far the best acted in the series. He looked like he wanted to kill the characters and their future grandkids. He was aggressive, violent, soaked in blood, mean, nasty, but he loses marks for his long black Halloween nails. Freddy, by contrast, was as comical and lighthearted as he had ever been in the franchise, where he had moments of levity mixed with wrath in part 3. Little wrath was to be found here. He became a master manipulator, which was cool, but lost his edge big time. This isn't the end all and be all of judging these characters, but who gets bragging rights? Let's go to the scoreboard. It was final chapter 9, Dream Master 6. Another 9. Crazy. All right, next up, Killage. This should be a fun one. Tom Savini returned to the helm to destroy Jason, the monster he created. Before giving Jason a bloody and maniacal death, he dispatched teens in a playful, bloody fashion, from corkscrews to butcher knives to garden claws to spear guns, from the water to the rooftop. The kills in part 4 were a beautiful, eclectic work of art. Freddy upped his game in this one as well. Offing survivors from part 3 in the first act made it seem like anyone was fair game. Highlights were the wet dream kills and the Roach Motel. All right, let's see who wins the art of the kill. It was final chapter 8, Dream Master 7. All right, setting, let's do it. While the setting of Friday the 13th wasn't bad, it certainly played well on screen. The departure from the camp made it a little less interesting, especially as it was the same angle part 3 used. Dream Master played out suburban life perfectly. Pretty homes all in a row without a hint of the horrors that can face them inside. Loved the school dream sequences, setting, as well as the 50s diner where some of the cast worked. The weird dream sequences in the theater were also cool. Overall, Dream Master looked big time budget, and a lot of that was due to the rich settings. Ultimately, no surprise, Friday the 13th stuck to the woods, Elm Street stuck to the burbs. It's just how they played out. Let's go to the scoreboard. Final chapter 5, Dream Master 8. All right, let's go to the ending.
This isn't the final chapter, that's just an advertising gimmick. The ending clearly sets up a sequel, and what I want to know is, I wonder if they're going to be heartless and cynical enough to make the sequel, because why not? They've already taken the bucket to the cesspool 4 times for this sludge. I think the people who made this movie ought to be ashamed of themselves.
While I love the mutilation of Jason in the end and the graphic nature of the kill, I am still a little perplexed as to why we are to swallow the fact that Jason is so easily fooled. Whether it's some random girl putting on his mom's sweater or Feldman shaving his head, I mean, Jason had to know he wasn't looking at himself, right? I mean, why would a bald kid throw off his killing rhythm so much? If all you had to do was let Freddy look into a mirror to die, then man, this is one series Achilles. That being said, the whole badass evolution of Alice into Freddy's worst nightmare was a bit weak in convincing audiences that Freddy could be beat in this manner, but the Rocky-style training montage was fun.
What's happening to me?
All right, doesn't sound like the endings were like 9s and 10s, but let's get to the scoreboard. Maybe there'll be some surprises. Nope, they both scored 7s. All right, after an awesome grudge match between these two, let's see which of their movies prevailed. In the end, it was The Final Chapter, 56, and The Dream Master, 55, making the winner by the slightest of margins, Friday the 13th Part 4, The Final Chapter. Or if we're keeping it real, Friday the 13th, The Final Chapter. You know, sometimes you can goof around a little too much. You gotta know when to hold them and when to slash them up real good. Until next time, don't forget to follow us on all our social media, and don't forget to comment below, subscribe, hit the notifications tab, do all that stuff, eat your vitamins and all that stuff. Take care.